Hey guys, how's it going? My name's Always, and welcome back to Age of Engineering. In the last episode, we started moving, and we set up a little bit of a system, which we're going to go look at here in a moment with the calculator mod. Just automating calculator stuff, and I have been slowly draining the 4 million RF out of this guy so that we can take him to the other dimension, the mining dimension, and start working on some stuff. So some other things I'm going to want to do is start moving these guys, get everything moved over, and go from there. So today we are going to be working on a couple of different things. Primarily, you know what, let's grab, since we have power, let's grab some redstone, and I've got a bit of iron. I have more iron over in the mining dimension ready to be smelted and all that kind of stuff, but we need conductive iron so that we can make more energy conduits, and then the binder, which I have some ready to be made. So yeah, let's head over to the mining dimension, and today we are going to be working on some immersive engineering. This is a little bit of a sidetrack from what we have been doing, but the main reason I want to work with immersive engineering is we need steel production. We need to improve our steel production considerably. And, well, it's about time we upgraded our blast furnace. I think that's going to be the best way to handle this. Now, the main thing that I want to work towards next is power. We're going to want a lot of power generation. And right now, we really can't do much. These guys are great, don't get me wrong. And I was looking at a bunch of stuff. I don't need the chisel thing anymore. So I was looking at a bunch of different generators and solar panels and all that kind of stuff. And to get the solar panels that I want, the solar controller is a little expensive. It's actually not the most expensive part. The tier 2 is pretty expensive, with diamantine crystals requiring benatite, fertilizer, lithium dust, which is a pain to get, and just a lot of badness here. But more importantly with all of this, or more costly with all of this, is the solar cells themselves, which require 2 octet capacitors each, and everything else is pretty easy. Clear glass is easy enough, but the octet capacitors requires a ton of empowered Estonia. So yeah, we're going to need to be making a good bit of power before we can make the solar panels, which is what we're going to be powering our base off of for the most part, because eternal day. So in the meantime, we're going to start looking at a couple of different things. One thing that I'm considering is the halitosis generator, which is pretty straightforward. It does require an end-rod and some per blocks, nothing too bad. But the thing about this is it generates 500,000 RF very slowly from one Dragon's Breath. We have more than enough. Dragon's Breath really isn't used for anything other than these Ender Stars, which we'll need later, much later, for the Angel Ring. That's about the only thing that's going to be used for. So I don't really care. Let's get some stuff set up. So I have been working over here. As you can see, the circuits are doing their thing, and I tried to figure out a halfway decent way to organize them, but there's not really a good way. I realize that not all of them kind of match, but we are getting some stuff. Another gold axe. I got a calculator assembly, which these things are the steel, and we might look at something with calculator day. We got a health processor, which is really expensive. Takes flawless diamonds, which we really can't make. Requires atomic binder, which requires iridium. So yeah, circuits are the way to go. Let's see, that guy is currently paused, which is what I want. So we're gonna just set this guy here, and for the time being, let's get the alloy smelter, making us some conduit binder so we can make more power lines and all that kind of fun stuff. And yeah, we'll see if we get anything good. We got another, and it goes immediately in. That is what I want. So I need to just kind of go through all these guys and make sure these all have stuff. Something I want to do is potentially start looking at speed upgrades for these. Which, if we look at the recipe, the speed upgrade is this guy. And it requires atomic binder to make. That's terrible. However, if we make a fabrication chamber, we can make them 1-to-1. The fabrication chamber is a bunch of iron, a storage chamber, which is just an atomic calculator, some reinforced chests, which none of this is actually that bad. It's just a lot of iron. For now, that's not a bad cost. So these guys will kind of do their thing. We have a bunch of that. So we'll get stuff from this and kind of go from there. I have a chest. I'm going to just put it down right over here for right now and dump the rest of the stuff in there. And we're going to break these guys. I thought I had you paused. So what we are going to start working on today is, I also moved some stuff over, by the way. So a couple of things that I've been trying to figure out what I want to do with. So I talked before how that section was going to be like auto crafting, and this section was going to be the actual controller, all that kind of stuff. Well, I think what we're going to do is we're probably going to extend this back a little bit and have a bigger room here for auto crafting as well. And then over here, I want to just go ahead and have ore processing. For now, that requires a couple of things. So we're going to have the crusher, we're going to have the sag mill, and the alloy smelter. And we'll get this stuff automated later, but right now it doesn't really matter. So that is one thing I just want to kind of mention real quick. But today we are going to focus a little bit more on making, as you see, I've been mining, so I have a bunch of stuff in here. One of the first things we want to work on is making more steel. Making more steel is going to give us more options with power generation and all that kind of stuff. Kind of my plan, and I don't know if I'm going to do this or not. I haven't decided yet. Because solar panels are just way too enticing, but we need some sort of power generation in the meantime. And something we could do is biodiesel. So if we take a look at the engineer's manual, there is a bunch of power generation, and one of the big things is the diesel generator. This thing is huge. It costs quite a bit of stuff, including a lot of heavy engineering blocks, which heavy engineering blocks are not too bad to make. They are just a lot of steel. Just a lot of steel, and then some solarium, which is what was locking us out of it until this age. So we could pretty easily do this. Not easily, but we could pretty well do this. And it generates 4,000 RF per tick when given biodiesel. So it's pretty good, to put it lightly. So the thing about that, though, is biodiesel is a little bit of a pain to make. So if we want to make biodiesel, no. Okay, so it's in the heavy machinery. We need, let's see, it's a refinery. So refinement of plant oil from the squeezer and ethanol from the fermenter into biodiesel. And it costs power and all that kind of fun stuff. And that is going to require a bunch of steel. The fermenter also requires some steel, cauldrons, that kind of stuff. It's not too bad, and this turns. So if we look at, I think the easiest way to do this one would be to look at biodiesel. If I can spell it. So biodiesel is made from ethanol and plant oil, and it is a 1-to-1, gives you 2. So that is nice. So it's not that hard to get once you can get the stuff. Ethanol is made from sugarcane, melon, apples, or potatoes. Is there differences? No. No differences. So we just need to set up a farm for one of these. And probably, see, sugarcane wouldn't be too hard to automate, or potatoes. Either one would be pretty easy. And then we do plant oil, which is seeds, or basically seeds. I think the best is, yeah, hemp. So hemp seeds are the best for that. So we just take seeds, whatever we want, and potatoes or sugarcane, and we can make fuel. So that is a definite way that we can make a lot of power pretty easily. The only problem is steel, so that's what we're going to work on. Steel production is kind of crucial, and to do that, what we're going to want is we're going to want the blast bricks, the reinforced blast bricks, which require steel plates. We're going to need 27 of these plus a hopper. So let's get started getting all this stuff together, and we can start automating all this. Now, unfortunately, unless we want to go extreme, and I mean extreme, there's not really much options for coke ovens, because we're actually gonna want a lot of coal coke throughout this series. So if we look at coal coke, this is used for void crystals. That's not too important at this point. But one of the big things that coal coke is used for is coke dust, which can be turned into HOP graphite dust, which is then used to make graphite ingots, which are required for electrodes, as well as they're used for other things. They're used for that. Maybe this dust is used for something else. Maybe not. But we're going to need the arc furnace for... I know the arc furnace is used for something. What is this used for? There is a catch. We're going to need a decent amount of coal coke. And I think it's a lot of, like, the ores can only be processed. Is it like... Oh, that's what it is. It's like cadmium. Let's see if we can find... let's see. Cadmium. Powdered cadmium. Might be able to smelt it. Wow, that's a lot of experience. I don't know that that actually works. But you can use the arc furnace. I don't know. There is a reason we're going to want a lot of coal coke. So... that, unfortunately, if we want a lot of that, it's gonna be a little bit harder. Where is that? Resources. Coke oven. There is the simple one, which we already have, but then there is another one, which is a bigger one that I don't know that is in this proof blast furnace. Maybe not. Alright, well, we're going to want coal cokes. We're going to probably want a couple of those. And all in all, what we're going to want to do is make another building that is going to be a fairly large building that is going to have all of our machines and stuff for immersive engineering. And I've decided to go with limestone for this. So we're just going to set out some blocks like so, just to give an idea of where it's going to be. I want to have plenty of room. This can go any direction, and honestly, a lot of stuff. I need to stop making these all the same shape. That is something I don't want, so I'll have to stop doing that. But anyways, let's head back to the overworld and see if we can't start working towards getting the improved blast furnace. And part of what we're going to need with this guy is, one, he's going to make a lot of steel. However, we need to preheat them, the oven, so that the blast furnace rather, so that it actually does a lot more for us. It'll make the steel a lot faster, and it looks like we just don't have enough coal coke. Okay, I need to get more coal coke. So how much coal do we have? Okay, we have some coal coke. So let's go ahead and get some more cooking, and I'm gonna throw that in there. So we're also gonna probably want some other machines. So one thing that we're gonna want is the metal press. Metal press is pretty easy. It's going to require, let's see, steel scaffolding, redstone engineering blocks, pistons, conveyor belts, and heavy engineering blocks. It does require a heavy, doesn't it? So we're not going to be able to make that quite yet, which is fine, but we can start working on the preheater. So we're going to want 2 of these guys. If we look at the blast furnace, the improved blast furnace, the preheaters are used to heat up the air, and it speeds up the refinement process of the iron. It can have 2 preheaters connected with 32 RF per tick to operate. At this point, we're going to have to kind of operate it with the power cells that we have, but eventually what we could potentially do is just have some solar panels powering it. So that's an idea. This is going to take forever, by the way. So let's go ahead and start working on the preheaters. It's going to require some iron sheet metal, which is literally just iron plates. How much iron do we have processed right now? Might be something we need to kind of work on a little bit. We don't have much, but we're going to need what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times 2. So that's 14. So, what is it? It is 1 to 1. So we're going to need at least 14. So we need a little bit more. We can go ahead and get this started. That'll do its thing. And I guess let's go grab more iron. I do have some iron plates, so we don't need to turn all of this. Let's actually look and see, because I know I have a few. We have 4. Cool. That's actually nice. So let's go ahead and start working on this. 5, there's 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We need all of the iron. Okay, so I will let that process. This is all chunk loaded, so we can go ahead and head back into the mining dimension, grab the rest of the iron. I don't think I have any just lying around or anything. I do have a little bit of steel. We're going to need 27 steel turned into plates as well, which is why I made all of this steel. But we're going to use the engineer's hammer for that because it's going to be easier. And I think we can still do that. So, where is my engineer's hammer? It'd be in here, right? No. It might be at the new base already, because I don't see it in here. Alright, so we'll just take all this stuff back and we'll start looking at what we can do. We're going to need a little bit more iron. We're going to need copper and a little bit of redstone. So not really that much of anything else. Between episodes, I did go mining for a bit. Didn't get too much of interest, but still kind of working on that. So it's more important to just go mining. That is almost done. This area is not chunk loaded, which we could probably fix. Do we have... Let's just claim this entire area. And there we go, chunk loaded. I don't want to load all of it. So that is good, and everything's good. So let's grab some of the iron ore that I have, and we'll process that. I was hoping to get the farming station, but honestly, power is what's more important right now. We don't need to keep any. So just right here, what is the best way? That is going to give us nickel and tin versus gold. And it does double both. Yes, and it's guaranteed double. Okay, so what we'll do is, just to get a little bit of mixture, let's kind of do that. It'll also be quicker. This is a really quick machine. So there is all of the iron we needed. Awesome. And for the time being, we're just going to put this guy here. We're going to also break into our base and do this, just so that we can grab more conduits. Gonna want a lot of conduits as we go. Perfect. And then for the time being, I'm gonna set up the blast furnace here. I will build out an area and kind of plan it out. There is a lot of machines that we're gonna need, and everything except for the actual biodiesel generator is going to be over in the immersive engineering. So I don't want anything that isn't. There's the engineer's hammer. I don't want anything that isn't like part of that to be with the power generation stuff. So like anything that's immersive engineering, I want in that building. And we're just gonna kind of move things as we go. So unfortunately, there are two different types of iron, and we can't stack that. That's kind of a bummer, but that's okay. So we're going to need, for this guy, some copper and Inori crystals. We are going to need a few Inori crystals, so we'll just make a block of those if we don't already have that, and we'll just let that process while we run back to the overworld and try to deal with things. So nothing good. It doesn't hurt. Once we have decent power generation, we're going to definitely be automating the circuits a little bit more often, and eventually we can kind of choose what we want, which is really nice. So we can tell the calculator mod has an option to basically, you put this item in and you get this circuit guaranteed, and that's something that we're going to want to do at some point. But right now, not a big deal. Now, did I grab... Do we have ender lilies? Yes. These take forever to grow, but might not be a bad idea to use some to get more ender pearls, which we're going to need to make more item conduits, because, yeah, they take pulsating iron. So what do we need here? We need that, which is finished, and we can pick up this guy completely, and I want to make sure that this area stays well lit and all that kind of fun stuff, so I'm gonna make sure of that. And I don't know what we're gonna do about the coke ovens. I think you can kind of automate those. We'll experiment with those later, but for right now, it's not that big of a deal. So 27. Can I not do that? So if I want to turn that into, we need the metal press for that, or we should be able to, yeah, metal form it, and I don't believe it matters what kind. Alright, cool. So we're going to need to throw these guys in here. And we need 27, I do believe. It says 27 reinforced blast bricks. I didn't grab one. Yep, there it is. We only had 26. So we'll grab all this stuff and we'll make while we're waiting for the rest of the stuff, we'll go ahead and make what we need. So we're going to need nori crystals, which we don't have any of. So let's get a block of them, I guess. We should have enough power for this, so we're just going to throw that on the ground, laser it, and there's a nori crystal block. And we're going to need 2 preheaters. So that is 4 of these. Bunch of sheet metal. And then we're going to need what is in this. So we need copper coils. And copper wires requires plates and some sort of shears, which I have. We have 1 copper plate. This gives us 1. Ugh, that's so nasty. We're gonna need 16 copper plates plus a little bit more copper. But the 16 copper plates is kind of the important thing right now. Let's go ahead. I have some coal coke on me. Let's go ahead and see how this is. Yep, I kind of figured. We'll put that in there. And if we had transformers, we could just kind of hook this up. But this guy won't take any more power than what we already have. So steel and blast bricks gives us the reinforced. So we need a bunch of copper coils, and then everything else is pretty easy. Do we have the iron? Yes, we do. So it's 2 of those guys around all that. What is required for this? Just a stick, which we surprisingly don't have. We have some treated wood. We can use this instead, because why not? There's no reason not to. So that, with a bunch of copper, yeah, we need to make the copper plates, and I don't think we can do that. We might be able to use the forge hammer, but is that really worth it? Not really. Not with how much copper we need. It's going to be better just to wait. So we might be waiting for a while. Alright, so let's take a look at kind of what's next for all of this. So if we look at the guide, kind of the next thing that we need to do, we need to start making nutrient distillation so that we can start making RF tools machine frames. And that's going to unlock a lot of stuff. But really the thing that's going to start unlocking more is the nuclear age and getting iridium. Getting a lot of iridium is going to be the key. And with that, we're also going to be getting plutonium, which we can use to make the advanced steam generators or gas turbines. And yeah, that's going to be fun. But then basically we have a couple ages until we absolutely need mica and end diamonds. And then that's going to lead us into neotech, and then that will get us into Tech Reborn, aka Greg Tech, and then we can go to space, and that's a ways off. Is the metal former a tier 1? Yes, it is. So we can't really speed this up much without transformer upgrades, which is something we haven't really made. We could make a transformer, but that's a bunch of iron. Okay, we're gonna waste a piece of steel because I don't want to. Actually, no, we're not gonna waste the steel. We're gonna grab copper. I forgot I had the block cutting machine. We're gonna grab 2 copper blocks, and we're gonna cut these up into plates. because that'll be nice and quick. And that's going to take a little bit. So we can get the rest of the stuff, but one of the big things that we're going to have to do eventually is we're going to have to move the IC2 system and honestly power it up a lot. That is going to be key for a lot of just getting more iridium. That is kind of the locking point of this mod pack, is iridium. And there's a bunch of different ways to get it, but most of them require a ton of power. So let's see, there's 10, we need 16. And you know what, we need both of those sticks, so it's actually convenient that I have this. So something like this makes the LV coils. We put these around the Inori crystals, gives us the copper coil blocks, and then 1, 2, and 2, and 2, and 2. And then we need more copper. And is it redstone on the bottom? Yes. So just 2 pieces of redstone. Pretty easy. And there's the external heaters. We set those down. And there's the blast furnace preheaters. Now the iron sheet metal can be turned back into iron plates, but we're going to be using that for other stuff. So there's that. And then we just need 7 more blast bricks. And then the last thing we're going to need, which I haven't actually mentioned yet, is a hopper. So hoppers are a little bit different in this mod pack, I believe. So hopper requires aluminum and a chest. We don't have all that much aluminum, I don't think. Or do we? We have 5 aluminum, which is exactly how much we need. And I have an extra chest setting in the mining dimension, so we'll just wait. We're almost done. 1 more. And we can go make more steel. And I mean a lot more steel. Probably a lot quicker as well. We're still going to need coal coke to power it, so to speak. But otherwise, steel is going to come pretty quickly and easily. So that is what we want. More steel means more power, more everything. We can start more automation, especially with immersive engineering, which uses a lot of steel. So let's head back into the mining dimension, and we'll get this set up near to the power source and kind of see how things are working. Now, like I said, eventually power generation is all going to be in the one block, the one area, and we'll just kind of spread things out from there. But for now, we'll do it here. So 1, 2, let's see, we're going to want, break this. Let's put it like here. And before we do anything else, we need to make the hopper. We also need to eat. I'm going to need to grab some more food from the other, from the overworld. But for now, let's eat some apples. Alright, there's the chest. And I'm going to have to organize my inventory and all that kind of fun stuff between episodes. Also, I thought this was going to be worse. I thought we were going to have to make the hopper ducts. That's for the transfer pipes. That's right. I knew the hopper ducts were important for something. So there is the hopper. So it's pretty easy to make this. I just need to double check. I believe the hopper goes in the center. Yep. Cool. So we'll get this. Be nice and simple. And then we just need the engineer's hammer. Do we hit the side? There we go. So there is the improved blast furnace. So out the back is slag. What we'll end up doing is putting a drawer here. Actually, we can probably go ahead and do that. And let's get, I have a decent amount of wood. We're going to want more drawers anyway, so we'll just make some chests. and get a couple more drawers. So what we're going to want is we're going to want to have a drawer on the back, which is going to get slag. So as you can see, we have 18 currently. That's going to increase considerably. These guys go on the sides, the preheaters, and they require power. So we'll grab some energy conduits. And I believe they need to be powered from the top. So let's grab, I guess let's just grab some blocks. And we'll power it. And then we also need item conduits. And set this to insert. And this is where the steel and, not the steel, the iron and the coal go. And I think we can do something like put a chest here or something. And then the steel comes out the front. So we'll get this kind of, it's not going to be pretty at this point, but it's going to work. And that's what's important. So I just want to make sure that everything works the way I think it will. So let's go grab one of those chests that we made. And I have a bit of iron on me. We're going to just go by a single piece. Just to kind of see how fast this thing is. And it does require power. But I believe only when it's actively working. You know, let's put this guy here. And we'll put chest here for right now. Again, this is very temporary. Extract always active. If we put the block of coal coke, and let's do like 4 iron in there, it'll immediately go in there and start working. Now these guys are going to be using power, 64 RF per tick, but you can see just how much faster that is. And it'll make steel and automatically output the steel, and the slag goes in the back. Easy enough. Like, everything is automatic. And I'll just put the other steel ingot in there, and the slag is down back here. So we can use this to make a ton of steel. And I mean, I have so much iron, we can just throw in as much iron as I want, and coal coke and all that kind of fun stuff, and not really have to worry about it. So I think that's going to be it for this episode. My plan is I'm going to continue kind of working on getting the base organized and all that kind of fun stuff. Some of the next things I want to work on, I need to get another drawer controller. That wasn't too bad. It just requires more circuit stuff. Yeah. I also want to get compacting drawers. This is going to be the fun part, but not actually that bad. So that's just 4 obsidian and reinforced chest. That's a lot of reinforced iron. So you might want to start working on getting a stone separator. That might not be a bad idea, because otherwise it's a little bit expensive. Or that's the only way we get it. Never mind. Compacting drawers would be really nice to have. So yeah, we're going to want as many of these as we can for all the metals, including like steel and all that kind of stuff. Or we just don't worry about it and produce everything in normal drawers. I don't know yet. I'll kind of decide that as we go, if it's worth it to make the compacting drawers at this time. Eventually we are going to want to have those, but right now that's a little expensive for our taste, especially with how much iron it takes. So yeah, I'm going to start just kind of getting everything moved over, getting drawers set up and moving these guys around. Something that we're going to want is a drawer key, which is pretty easy. In fact, let's go ahead and get one. I don't have any gold over here, but I might actually. So it's just something like this, And then we need some sticks. I don't think I've made this yet. So we just get some sticks to surround this. We get the upgrade templates. I've made those before. Where is that stuff? I don't want to make this if I've already done it once. Do two of these have void? That one does. Didn't I put it on? No. So where did I get the upgrade template? Oh yeah, I already have a drawer key. Never mind. I thought I did. Alright, so the plan is going to be this. I'm going to continue working on getting everything over here and making steel. Next time we're going to start working towards getting the fermenter and the squeezer and the refinery so that we can start making biodiesel. Probably to augment that is we might make some more generators and go from there. So that's kind of the general plan. Hopefully we can get a decent amount of power generation here soon and get this base wired up decently well. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!